ପିଲାମାନେ आमे परिवेश रक्षा करवा एवं साधारण भाव में परिवेश को सफा सुतरा रखा बहुत जरूरी हो पड़ी। एक कथा दुखर कथा जे विंश शताब्दी और एकविंश शताब्दी मध्य बेले बेले आमे एपरी परिस्थितिर सम्मुखीन होइचे जो थे कि सफा सुतरा न रहा फल प्लेग रोग व्यापक भाव में सूरत सहर में व्यापी था। यही 20-25 वर्ष तले 1980 दशक आ 90 दशक प्लेग सूरत सहर में प्लेग हो गला। ये आगुरी तो बहुत उदाहरण अच्छी जो थे कि हईजा जल प्रदूषण फल व्यापार बहुत उदाहरण अच्छी उभय भारत और चाइना और अन्य देश एवं जो प्रकार शिल्प विप्लवर अग्रगति घटी प्रथम यूरोप रे घटला पर अन्य देश में घटुची बर्तमान द्रुत बेगर आफ्रिकार शिल्प विप्लव देखा देइची एवं ये शिल्प विप्लव सहित आम देखुचे जे सहरांचल रे बस्ती सब बढ़ी जाउची एवं बस्ती रे उपयुक्त पानीर व्यवस्था परिमलर व्यवस्था पायखानार व्यवस्था नथिबा फल से सब अंचल रे परिवेश दूषित होकर सारा सहर को रोग व्यापुची। तेणु शिल्प विप्लव जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी हो बा ऊर्जा बोली आम जहाँ कौचे ऊर्जा बोली वर्तमान एनर्जी विभिन्न प्रकार सूत्र मिलुवा ऊर्जार आवश्यकता बढ़ी बढ़ी चलती एवं तद्वारा कोयलू इलेक्ट्रिसिटी उत्पादन होची। कोयलू इलेक्ट्रिसिटी उत्पादन कला बेलू जी परिवेश दूषित होची अनेक समय विचार करा जाउची जे जो ऊर्जा से आमको मिलूची सेटा सफा ऊर्जा कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आम कहे जे पेट्रोल डीजेल व्यवहार करवा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी गाड़ी व्यवहार करवा ठीक कथा किंतु इलेक्ट्रिसिटी गाड़ी जदि व्यवहार करवा से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बाहर करने परिवेश को नष्ट करवा गाड़ी जो परिवेश नष्ट होता बर्तमान इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जो परिवेश इलेक्ट्रिसिटी तैयारी करने जो पॉल्यूशन बढ़ो ताले लाभ कौन है ये बहुत ये बहुत जटिल प्रश्न अच्छी दीटा कथा गोटे पटे सफा रहा आ द्वितीय पटे परिवेश को रक्षा करवा। पृथ्वीर 10टा गंधिया सहर कहले ता भीतर आधा डजन भारत वर्ष बाहर एपरिक दिल्ली भाया सहर में जिते शीत दिन आसी जाए विशेष करी से गाड़ी बाहर धुआं एवं घर कोठा तैयारी धूली ता सांग को सकाळु सकाळु जो कुहुड़ी ए सबू मिसिक एपरी एक स्तर सृष्टि होउची जहाँकू आउ स्मोक कहूनी कि फग कहूनी स्मोक कहूची बुझल कि एवं से दिन दिन धरिकी रोचे ए दुख को आहरी बढ़ाई दूची जेते पंजाब रे हरियाणा रे आखपाख राज्य रे उत्तर प्रदेश रे गहम कटा होची आउ जो गहम रहीगला गछर स्टब ता देर सब निया लगे दौरान कारण से नड़ा को लेकिन आउ तो क्या घर छात पड़ूनी सब तो कोठाघर होगा विशेष करके से अंचल सब कोठाघर हो जाइए तेणु से नड़ा घरे घरे गाई थे आजिकल घरे घरे गाई नहीं विभिन्न कारण जो ताकू आउ से ही छाड़ी दिया निया लगे दिया तापरे ट्रैक्टर चलकर आउ थे चाष हबार व्यवस्था हो सब जाक मिसिकी जपरी भयंकर परिस्थिति प्रतिवर्ष सृष्टि होची दिल्ली आखपाख अंचल रे उत्तर प्रदेश सहर रे पंजाब सहर रे हरियाणा सहर रे तुम्हें निजे न देखिले विश्वास कर परिबो एवं थरे ए भलिया शीत दिन रे से सब सहर को गले मन आउ द्वितीय थर जीवाई मना करिवो कारण निश्वास प्रश्वास नवा ही कष्ट हो जाउची। तेणु यही जो भयंकर परिस्थिति सृष्टि होची उभय परिवेश नष्ट फल एवं सफा सुतरार अभाव समय अभाव फल तेणु सेठी कौन होची आमको तार उत्तर कौन तार उत्तर केवल 3-4टा कथा। प्रथम कथा हूँ रियूज जदि आम कना बैगटे रखिकी बजार हाट जावा ताल से कना बैग बारंबार व्यवहार हो जोटा थरे व्यवहार हो सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक ताकू निहाती वर्जनीय हवा दरकार केते आईन आसला किंतु आम सक्सेसफुल करें चारिआडे प्लास्टिक गुटका खाइबा खाई से जो जरी पकाउचे जमीर केते जे क्षति घटुची ता कल्पनार बाहर ये शह शह उदाहरण दे हे जोटिकी अनेक समय पोखरी समुद्र हठात देखा जाउची मला माछ भासुंट शह शह संख्यार माछ कहीं मरी जाउछंती ना विभिन्न कारण से जल प्रदूषित हो जाउची एवं से प्रदूषित जल ମାଛ ମାନେ ବଞ୍ଚି ପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି। ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଚକ୍ର ରହିଛି, ଜୀବନ ଚକ୍ର ରହିଛି, ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଚକ୍ର ରହିଛି, হ্যাঁ ସାପ ବେଙ୍ଗକୁ ଖାଉଛି, ବେଙ୍ଗ ମାଛିକି ଖାଉଛି, হ্যাঁ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଚକ୍ର ରହିଛି ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଚକ୍ର, ସେ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଚକ୍ର ଯଦି କେଉଁଠି ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ଭାଙ୍ଗିଗଲା ତାହେଲେ ସେ ସବୁ ସେଇ ଚକ୍ରରେ ଥିବା ସବୁ ପଶୁପକ୍ଷୀଙ୍କର ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ଅବସମ୍ଭାବୀ ହୋଇଯିବ। ଏମିତି ଆଗରୁ କୁହାଯାଇଛି ଯେ ପୃଥିବୀ 6 ଥର ପ୍ରାୟ ଧ୍ୱଂସ ହୋଇଯାଇଛି। ଯେମିତି ଡାଇନୋସରସ୍ ଗୋଟେ ସମୟରେ ଥିଲା ଆଉ ନାହିଁ। ଏବଂ ଏବେ ଅନେକ ଲୋକ ବୈଜ୍ଞାନିକମାନେ ଭୟ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ବୋଧେ ସପ୍ତମ ପୃଥିବୀ ପ୍ରଳୟ ହୋଇଯିବାର ବେଳ ଆସିଗଲା। ମଣିଷ ବି ରହିବ କି ନ ରହିବ ଏହି ସପ୍ତମ ପ୍ରଳୟରେ, ସେ ବି ପ୍ରଶ୍ନବାଚୀ ଚିହ୍ନ ହୋଇଯାଉଛି। ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ପରିବେଶ ରକ୍ଷା କରିବା ଏବଂ ସଫାସୁତୁରା ରଖିବା, ଏଇ ଦୁଇଟା କ୍ଷେତ୍ରରେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଭଲେଣ୍ଟିୟର ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ କାମ କରିବାର ଅମାପ ସୁଯୋଗ ରହିଛି। ଏବଂ 2-4ଟା ଉଦାହରଣ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି। ଗୋଟେ ଜଣେ ଖୁବ୍ ଅଳ୍ପ ବୟସ୍କର ବାଳକ ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁତ୍ର ନଦୀରେ ଠିକ୍ ଗୌହାଟୀ ସହରଠୁ ଅଳ୍ପ ଦୂରରେ ସହର ଭିତରେ ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁତ୍ର ବୋହି ଯାଉଛି ଏବଂ ସେ ତାକୁ ସେଠି ସମୁଦ୍ର ବୋଲି କହନ୍ତି, ଲୋକ ସାଗର ବୋଲି କହନ୍ତି, କାରଣ ସେ ଖୁବ୍ ଚଉଡ଼ା, ଆମ ମହାନଦୀ ଠାରୁ ବି ବହୁତ ଚଉଡ଼ା, ନ ଦେଖିଲେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରିପାରିବନି। ହଠାତ୍ ସେଠି ନଈର ଏତେ ଚଉଡ଼ା ଯେ ତୁମେ ଗୋଟେ ଦିଗରେ ଛିଡ଼ା ହେଇକି ଆରପଟ ଦିଗ କେବେ ବି ଦେଖିପାରିବନି, ସମୁଦ୍ର ଯେମିତି ସେଇଭଳି ଦେଖାଯାଏ। ତେଣୁ ସେଇ ମଝିରେ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟ ଟାପୁ ଅଛି ଯାହାକୁ କହନ୍ତି মাজুলি ବୋଲି, ବା ଆସାମ ଭାଷାରେ মাজୁଲି କହିଲେ ମଝିରେ ଅଛି। ଏବଂ ସେଇଥିରେ ସେ ପିଲାଟି ଦେଖିଲା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଥର ବନ୍ୟା ହେଲା ଏବଂ ଶହ ଶହ ସଂଖ୍ୟାରେ ମଲା ସାପ ସେଠି ଦେଖାଗଲେ, ସେଥିରୁ ତା'ର ବୁଝିପାରିଲା ରହସ୍ୟ, ପ୍ରକୃତିର ରହସ୍ୟ, ଏବଂ ତାପରେ ସେ ଗଛ ଲଗାଇବାକୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲା। ଗୋଟିଏ ଛୋଟ ବାଉଁଶ କନ୍ଦା ଆଣିକି ଲଗାଇଲା ଏବଂ ଏଇ ବିଗତ 20-25 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ ସେ 550 ହେକ୍ଟରର ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିପାରିଛି ଏକୁଟିଆ। ଯଦିଓ ମୁଁ ସବୁବେଳେ କହୁଥିଲି ଯେ ତୁମେ ମିଶିକି ଗୋଟେ ଦଳ ଭାବରେ କାମ କରିବ ତାହେଲେ ଅଧିକ କାମ କରିପାରିବ, ସତ କଥା। କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଥିରେ ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ରହୁଛି ଯେ ଜଣେ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିର ଶ୍ରମର ମୂଲ୍ୟ, ଶ୍ରମର ସାର୍ଥକତା କେତେ ଅଧିକ ହୋଇପାରେ। ଏବଂ ସେଠି ଆଜି 550 ଏକରର ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ଛିଡ଼ା ହେଇଛି। ଖାଲି ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ଛିଡ଼ା ହେଇନି, ସେଠି ପାଣି ଅଛି, ହାତୀ ବି ଆସୁଛି, ଅନ୍ୟାନ୍ୟ ପଶୁପକ୍ଷୀ ବଞ୍ଚିଛନ୍ତି, ମଣିଷ ମଧ୍ୟ ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ ସମନ୍ୱୟ ଭାବରେ ବଞ୍ଚିଛି। ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ହେଉଛି କଥା, ଉଦାହରଣ। ସେଇଭଳିଆ ଆହୁରି ଅନେକ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଇହେବ। ସେଇ ସ୍ନେହାସ ବୋଲି ଜଣେ ପିଲା, ସେ ପ୍ରାୟ ସମୁଦ୍ର ତଟରୁ 700 କେଜି ଖଣ୍ଡେ ପ୍ଲାଷ୍ଟିକ୍ ଗୋଟେଇକି ବାହାର କରିପାରିଛି ଗୋଟାଏ ଥରରେ। ତାପରେ ଅନେକ ଥର କଲାଣି, ମୁଁ ଗୋଟିଏ ଉଦାହରଣ କେବଳ ଦେଲି। ସେଥିରେ ଅନେକ ଲୋକ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ତୁମେ ଜାଣିଛ ଯେ ପ୍ଲାଷ୍ଟିକ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ପ୍ରବଳ କ୍ଷତି କରୁଛି, ବିଶେଷ କରିକି ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ସମୁଦ୍ରକୁ ଚାଲିଯାଉଛି। ତୁମେ ସହରରେ ପକାଉଛ, ତୁମ ସହର ହୁଏତ ସମୁଦ୍ରରୁ 1000 କିଲୋମିଟର ଦୂରରେ ଥାଇପାରେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ପ୍ଲାଷ୍ଟିକ୍ ଅଲ୍ଟିମେଟଲି ଯାଇକି ନାଳରେ ଯାଇକି ନଈରେ ପଡ଼ିବ, ନଈରୁ ସମୁଦ୍ରକୁ ଯିବ ଏବଂ ସମୁଦ୍ରରେ ବ୍ୟାପକ କ୍ଷତି ଘଟାଉଛି। ଯେ ରିଫ୍ ଯେଉଁ ଶୈବାଳ ସବୁ ସମୁଦ୍ର ଭିତରେ ଥିବା ଶୈବାଳର ଅନେକ ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ଘଟୁଛି ଏବଂ ସାମୁଦ୍ରିକ ଜୀବନର କ୍ଷୟକ୍ଷତି ଘଟୁଛି। ଏବଂ ସାମୁଦ୍ରିକ ଜୀବନର କ୍ଷୟକ୍ଷତି ଘଟିଲେ ଆମର ଭୂମି ଉପରେ ଥିବା ଜୀବଜନ୍ତୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଏଫେକ୍ଟେଡ଼ ହେବେ, ବେଶୀ ଦିନ ନୁହଁ। ସେପରି ହିତାଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ଜଣେ କ୍ଲାଇମେଟ୍ ଏଡୁକେଟର ହିସାବରେ ଖୁବ୍ ନାମ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ସଞ୍ଜୁ ସୋମନ ସେ ୱେଟଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ କନଜରଭେସନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ୱେଟଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ କନଜରଭେସନ୍ ମାନେ ଦଳ ବୋଲି ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ କହୁଛେ, ଦଲଦଲ ହେଇଛି କଥାଟା, ସେଇ ଯେଉଁ ଯେମିତି ସୁନ୍ଦରବନ ବନରେ ଅଛି ଦଲଦଲ ଜଙ୍ଗଲ, ମ୍ୟାନଗ୍ରୁଭ୍ ବୋଲି କୁହାଯାଏ। ଏବଂ ସେଥିରେ କେତେ ଗୁଡ଼ିଏ ଗଛ ଅଛି ଯେଉଁଗୁଡ଼ାକ କି ତା ଦେହରୁ ଚେର ବାହାରିକିରି ଶୁଧୁ ପାଣିରେ ବଞ୍ଚିଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଖୁବ୍ ଘଞ୍ଚ ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ହୁଏ। କେନ୍ଦ୍ରାପଡ଼ା ପାଖରେ ତୁମେ ସାତକୋଶିଆ ପାଖରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେଇଭଳି ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ଦେଖିପାରିବ। ମହାନଦୀର ଯେଉଁଠି ଆସିକି ସମୁଦ୍ରରେ ମିଶୁଛି ସେଇ ଜାଗାରେ ସେଇଭଳିଆ ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ହେଇଛି। ଅଳ୍ପ ଜାଗା ଅଛି ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ, କେନ୍ଦ୍ରାପଡ଼ା ପାଖରେ କେବଳ, ଅନ୍ୟ ପାଖରେ ପ୍ରାୟ ସବୁ ମରିଗଲାଣି। କିନ୍ତୁ ସେମିତି ଆଗରୁ ଗଞ୍ଜାମ ପାଖରେ ହେନା ଗଛ ବହୁତ ଥିଲା, ସେ ବଣ ଆଉ ସମୁଦ୍ର କୂଳରେ ନାହିଁ, ଛତ୍ରପୁର ପାଖରେ ଥିଲା, ଏବେ ଆଉ ନାହିଁ। ଏବଂ ସେଇଭଳିଆ ଯେଉଁ ମ୍ୟାନଗ୍ରୁଭ୍ ବୋଲି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ, ସେ ମ୍ୟାନଗ୍ରୁଭ୍ କେରଳରେ ଅଛି, ତାମିଲନାଡ଼ୁରେ ଅଳ୍ପ ଅଛି, କେରଳରେ ମ୍ୟାକ୍ସିମମ୍ ଅଛି। ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ ସୁନାମିରୁ ରକ୍ଷା କରିବାରେ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରେ, ବାତ୍ୟାକୁ କମ୍ କରିବାରେ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରେ, ଇତ୍ୟାଦି ଇତ୍ୟାଦି। କିନ୍ତୁ ସେସବୁ ନଷ୍ଟ ହୋଇଗଲାଣି। ଏବଂ ସେଭଳିଆ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ସୌମ୍ୟରଞ୍ଜନ ବିଶ୍ୱାଳ ଯେଉଁ ଋଷିକୁଲ୍ୟା ନଦୀ ମୁହଁରେ ଗହିରୀ ମଥାରେ ଏଠି ସବୁ ଯେଉଁ ଆସିକି ଅଲିଭ୍ ରିଡଲି ସବୁ ଆସିକି ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରକାର ଜାତୀୟ କଇଁଚ, ସେ କଇଁଚମାନେ ଆସିକି ବିପୁଳ ସଂଖ୍ୟାରେ ଅଣ୍ଡା ଦିଅନ୍ତି। सेठी लोक मानक भीतर सचेतना सृष्टि करी से कईच को कहीं खाऊना तार अंडा को कहीं नष्ट करूना से समय से नई मुहरे समुद्र आउ नई जो मिशिची से पाखे चलाबुला भी करूना एवं तद्वारा शह शह संख्यार आसिक से दौरान से फेर छुआ हो सारा पर समुद्र को जाऊँ चिलिकार सेमती अनेक पक्षी आसुँच साइबेरिया अंचल आसुँच बर्तमान एक सचेतनता कार्यक्रम चली जो थे जो मैंने से पक्षी की मारुले बर्तमान से लोकर गाँव से लोक मैंने पक्षी की रक्षा करें परिवेश विषय रक्षा करने विषय गछ लगेवा विषय अनेक कथा तुम्हें एनएसएस वॉलंटियर हिसाब से जानी सामान्य चेष्टा कले जापर तुम निज अंचल कौन परिवेश समस्या अच्छी तुम्हें जापर एवं ताकू रक्षा करने तुम्हें काम करवा निहाती दरकार आउ परिवेश विषय तुम्हें बही बहुत कथा पढ़ी की जापर आउ अधिक कहूना नाउ लेट अस कम टू वन मोर थिंग caring for the senior citizens. Anybody who is above 60 is called a senior citizen. What is happening is that the population is moving in such a way that gradually there are countries like Japan where old people's number is sometime more than the youngsters number. People above 60, people above 80 for various things, developments in medical science, now many people live into ripe into their old age. Sometime they may not have monetary problem because they have earned enough in their life and they have savings to live upon. But they don't have anybody to take care of them. Their children are not in a position to take care of them. Now if you live up to say 80 years, 90 years, your children themselves will be old also. You will be also a senior citizen. You will be also 60 years old. You are not young enough to take care of your father and mother. So what happens? You will be surprised to know that in Japan, 1/3 of the senior citizens die at their home when nobody is there, sometimes for months together, nobody knows that you are dead. It can be that tragic. Taking care of the aged has become a big problem in the world. Recently a case came out became very viral, where a lady in Italy, she was living alone, she was 90 years old and she died in her own home. Nobody knew for almost a year. Nobody could know that she is dead. You can think of, yes, there was a pandemic, that is true, but then this is the modern life. It may not happen in a village. Even in villages, sometime when the children go out, the old people are left in the villages. Several flats all across the world, in flats, old people are living alone, and if the husband and wife, one fellow dies, the other lives alone. That is one part, and you have lot of old age related problems also. You require a huge health system to take care of the aged. So while there is lot of development in say medicine and health care, but the problems are equally mounting. So there is an organization which is called Helpage India, is a secular not for profit organization which is there, set up in 1978 and works for the cause and care of disadvantaged older population to improve the quality of life. You can see in Bhubaneswar also their office is there, they are also trying to do something in Odisha. You can visit website and find out more how Helpage India is helping the old people. Many a time people buy New Year cards from Helpage India, Dasara cards from Helpage India. So the profit goes to Helpage India, which helps the aged people in India. Caring for the street children. India has a maximum number of children living on streets. One estimate puts it about 18 million, though number of them have living parents or relatives. You know, street children. Everywhere, if you are in any city, you may not find such street children in villages, but in urban centers, you find many kids are living in railway station platforms. They do not go to school. Their parents are not there with them. Their parents may be also, some of them, very few parents will be also living in the street. They have also, their parents may not have also home. And these children are very vulnerable to so many things. Like they are used for sexual activities, they are used as drug peddlers, they themselves may fall into drugs, so many other things. Sometimes they collect the water bottles thrown from the railway compartments, and all kinds of things happen, you know. Now, these children become highly vulnerable, they are exploited and their life is in great danger because of the vehicles, this or that. And if they fall ill, there is nobody to take care of them. Governments are running many children home. There are many private NGOs also running children home, but still then the problem is gigantic. 18 million, 1 million has 6 zeros, 1 crore has 7 zeros. So, 18 million, more than 1.8 crore children are in the streets of India, mostly in the metro towns, and many NGOs also work for them. You can also think of them. Caring for the children of slum dwellers. In slum dwellers, there are slums in all big cities. In Bhubaneswar, there is a huge slum at Saliasai. There are slums, many other slums all over Bhubaneswar, near the railway tracks and in many other places. Slum clearance boards are there. So many social organizations are working, governments are working, but even then you cannot imagine what is the size of the problem. Bhubaneswar size is small, but the sizes in Bombay, Calcutta, all metro cities where the population is more than 1 crore, think of the size of the slums and the problems, many problems. And when during the pandemics, the slums became a major headache to prevent COVID spread. There is no healthy atmosphere. Some electricity is there, somewhere drinking water has been provided, but getting access to bathrooms, safe drinking water, clean water for bathing and all these things is a big issue. And there are many organizations which are working for this. Caring for the children in child care institution. In child care institution also, you will read these things in unit 4 in a big way in the 4th semester, vulnerable children. There is a specific unit devoted to vulnerable sections of the society, and you will read about children in great detail. So, I am just touching them here, I am not going into great details, because we will deal it in great detail. There are similarly, we have about 330,000 students, children living in 9,500 child welfare institutions. Sometimes these child welfare institutions which are supposed to provide protection to these children are themselves corrupt and they do not provide protection, they rather exploit. You can imagine the problem. Very recently, about 5 years back in Bihar, a minister had to go, resign. He was arrested, and because his family members were involved in a child welfare society, in a child welfare institution, which was not doing its work, which was doing something else. So, how to protect these children? And there are many NGOs working for them all across the country. You can also volunteer with the police. I have already discussed with you how you should behave yourself in accident or fire. You should immediately inform the fire brigade, or you should inform the police, you should try to help, call the nearest hospital, try to take the injured to the hospital, so on and so forth. Keeping town centers safe. Nowadays sometimes what happens is that there are, may not be in India so much, but in many places across the world. Recently in America, in England, there has been constant instances where people have random firing. Underground trains are running, they are called metro trains in many cities of India, particularly metro started in Calcutta, metro stations are there in Delhi, which is the lifeline, and local trains are there in Bombay, they are packed to the full. Now there is metro also in Bangalore, in major parts of Bangalore, and so many other places now metros are coming up. And in such big places, where lot of crowd is there are examples of people planting explosives and bombardments happening there, killing several people, or knife attacks by gun, so on and so forth. India is not free from it. And though it all started in America, Japan and all that, it is also found in other countries. So, how can you be helpful? If somebody is kept something, it is suspicious, a bag is left, nobody is there, it is nobody's bag, you are required to immediately report to the police. So, they will come, the dog squad will come, check it and all that. What happens is that you can volunteer also to prevent such acts of terrorism, such acts of extremism, unfortunately, which is still happening in this world. Dealing with antisocial behavior, conducting house to house enquiries sometime, arresting offenders and giving evidence in court. There is a law today in India to protect an eyewitness, but we are mostly afraid of being harassed by the court, by the police. We do not tell the truth, or if the police asks us, we say, I have seen nothing, I have heard nothing, I was not there. You are very much there, but you are not willing to provide information to the police or willing to provide any help to the police. Crowd control, we have discussed this, how during Rath Jatra or any other festival there can be a crowd and how you can crowd control. Educating children, communities, business on crime reduction. Today lot of cyber crimes are happening and it requires certain kind of IT related education which your older people lack, which you are aware. So, that you can help the people. Conducting traffic, that we have discussed. Suicide watch volunteering. People are committing suicide for various reasons. Number of suicide is increasing. Very recently, a girl in Akhirdham metro railway station, she jumped from the top. Fortunately, some of the people could catch her. She did not die immediately, but yesterday she is dead. From the injuries she succumbed, she is dead. Now, all these things are modern days tragedies. Staging street plays helps through volunteers. You create a consciousness. Street plays, street dramas create consciousness on many things, on the need for literacy, on first aid, on COVID protection, on road safety, on the need for wearing a helmet, and you can multiply the examples, and that is how you can help. Organizing workshops in schools, overburdened students are often under family pressure to perform, especially during examination, making them more susceptible to drastic action. Nowadays Pradhan Mantri is carrying out Parikya Pe Charcha and many chief ministers have followed this suit. We have created lot of tension for the students, and it is the friends who can help each other more than the parents. Parents also need to help, the society needs to interfere, but you can do wonders by helping your own friends. Volunteers provide emotional support to farmers, provide skill training to young adults. Farmers also commit suicide for various reasons. You can play a role. They also conducted seminars for women, anti-tobacco campaign, HIV AIDS awareness program and health melas in colleges. So, you can give multiply examples. Now, let me sum up what we have discussed. Basically, volunteerism, why volunteerism? Let us answer this question first. Why volunteerism? If you think that you stand alone, then you will not volunteer for anything. Please remember that we are all interconnected. Volunteerism is necessary because we are interconnected. None of us can live alone. None can live alone. Neither a beast nor a god even can live alone. No one can live alone. We have to live in groups. By living in groups only, we survive. No child will survive without parents. If he or she has no parents, then there must be somebody else who will act as his parent. Otherwise, do you think that a human child can survive? No, a dog's child cannot survive, a human child cannot survive, a sapling of a plant will also not survive if there is no rain. So, we need each other. That is the foremost thing we must understand, that we are interconnected. So, once you realize that you are interconnected, you will realize the need for volunteerism. Second thing that we say is that the foundation of volunteerism is altruism. You get a tremendous satisfaction by voluntarily doing something for all or doing something for somebody who is weak, who is vulnerable, and by that you draw a tremendous mental satisfaction. Volunteerism is not about money. Volunteerism is not about making profit. Volunteerism is not about being benefited by it. Volunteerism is about helping others and drawing satisfaction from it. Being happy by helping others. Seeing smiles in others' faces, you can give you the best smile possible. That is what is the foundation of volunteerism. So, volunteerism is an individual or collective trait that builds a sustainable foundation of the society. Sustainable foundation. What is sustainable foundation? Sustainable foundation is that suppose you are protecting the forest, suppose you are protecting the environment, then you are ensuring that human beings sustain, they do not die. That is sustainable development. So, suppose if you go to the sea and do fishing and do overfishing, then what will happen? In course of time, the fishes will not be able to give eggs and they will not be able to renew themselves. You will not get any fish for eating. That is not sustainable. Sustainable fishing will demand that you do not fish during breeding season. You give breeding season, you do not touch these fishes, then they can breed. So, that is very important. If we destroy any part of the nature, then this food chain is destroyed, life chain is destroyed, sustainability is destroyed. So, you have read also environment science in graduate course, and you know right from the first semester the importance of environmental studies, and sustainable growth is linked with your environment. That is why we say volunteerism stands for the noblest aspiration and deeds. Volunteering has the potential to transform the world into a much better place. Volunteerism is immensely beneficial to both individual and society. Volunteering transcends all caste and religious barrier. It is also necessary that volunteerism accords its due social recognition in conventional definition. One more thing which we have not discussed so far is that volunteerism is essential for leadership. Even if you want to become a political leader, it is always good to start as a volunteer. Volunteerism will prop you up into politics also. You will see there are many politicians who have done exceedingly well as social workers, and they have a base amongst the people. Why? Because they have helped others when they were in need. They understand the pain and pleasure of others. They are compassionate people. Only then you can succeed in politics. So, even politicians understand the importance of volunteerism. From a historical perspective, volunteerism emerged in the late Middle Ages in Europe. Then its volunteerism was considered a religious duty. Altruism, passion for service, empathetic nature, non-judgmental attitude, clarity in thought and expression, patience, proactive personality, commitment, reliability, teamwork, shared vision, humility, lifelong learning and conflict resolutions are the essential traits of a volunteer. Volunteerism can be observed in blood donation, organ donation, cleanliness, save the environment campaign, caring for senior citizens, working with underprivileged children, volunteering with the police, and suicide watch volunteering, etc. So this is what is we have discussed in. Let us consider few key words. There is no need to discuss it in great length, but even it is necessary to repeat it. Volunteer is a person who does something, especially helping other people willingly and without being forced or paid for it. Two things, willingly and without any payment. Volunteerism is a wide range of activities undertaken of free will for the general public good, for which monetary reward is not the principal motivating factor. Formal volunteering, volunteering activity undertaken through an organization, typified by the volunteers, making an ongoing and sustained commitment to an organization, contributing their time on a regular basis. You can act as a individual or you can do formal volunteering. NGO is a non-government organization, an organization that tries to achieve the social or political aim but is not controlled by the government. Prevention, the act of stopping something from happening or of stopping someone from doing something. हाँ पिलाने आमे जो स्व इच्छा सेवा कथा समाज सेवा कथा कथबार्ता करते तार शेष पर्यायर आसिक आम पहुँचीचे एवं ताकू दुई चारिटा कथा कहीकि तार परिसमाप्ति घटो। ये जो वॉलंटियरिज्म कथा कहूचे तार विशेष करके छोट पिलामानकु नहीं पिलामानकु कहले 16 ରୁ 14 वर्ष 18 वर्ष पर्यंत नाबालक बोलिकी धरा जाए भारत वर्ष में। 18 वर्ष पर साबालिक हुंती एवं 18 वर्ष तुम जानिच जे भोट देवार अधिकार मध्य से माने पाती भारत वर्ष में। तो ये मानकु नहीं जो प्रकार समस्या रही ताकू नहीं बहु जनसेवा कर सुजोग रही। तुम शुणिकी भाविपार भाविकी आश्चर्य होगा लगुच जे भारत वर्ष में 1,80,00,000 छोट छुआ रास्ता घाट रे बुलुचंती सहरर गली कंदी रही से बापा माँ अच्छी बा नाहांती बा जदि अच्छी से पिला मानकर जत्न नौ नाहांती। अनेक समय रे तांको बापा माँ मध्य एपरी गरीब जे सेमानकर निजर घर नहीं से रास्ता कड़े रोचंती। तेणु से परिस्थिति रे यही जो पाखापाखि 2 कोटी छोट पिला जो मानकर बयस कम से माने जो रास्ता रे रहिचंती तांकर जत्न नवा भारी जरूरी हो पड़ी। तांकर शिक्षा दीक्षार अभाव रोची से माने जेहेतु स्कूल को जाऊ नांती तेणु मध्याह्न भोजन रु मध्य से माने वंचित एवं जहाँ एवं नाना प्रकार शोषण रो शिकार होउचंती। बेले बेले तांको भिक्षावृत्ति करने बाध्य करुचंती अनेक दुष्ट लोक एवं बेले बेले आमे देखुचे जे तांको यौन शोषण मध्य करने को लोक पछौ नांती। भिक्षावृत्ति लगौचंती यौन शोषण लगौचंती एवं अनेक समय रे मादक द्रव्य ड्रग्स बिक्री करिवारे मध्य से पिलामान को लगौचंती। या फल समाज जो समस्या सृष्टि होउची एवं जेतोले से माने बड़ हेबे 18 वर्ष साबालक हेबे एवं से माने भल भाव में किसी गोटे करिवार क्षमता तांके पाखे रहिबनी शिक्षा नहीं दीक्षा नहीं तेणु से माने अणसामाजिक कार्यक्रम में लिप्त होवार भय रही। से भली आहुरी देखा जाउची जे पाखापाखि 10,000 ये पिला मानक पई जो शिशु मानक पई शेल्टर होम सब सुरक्षा जगह देवाई विभिन्न शेल्टर चली केतक सरकारी भाव में चलती अनेक बेसरकारी भाव में चलती। अनेक समय सरकारी बा बेसरकारी फरक मु देखु नहीं अनेक समय सी एक शोषण केन्द्र हो जाउछ। अति निकट अतीत बिहार रे एभली गोटे घटना घटला जे जो थी से मंत्री को इस्तीफा दौला एवं तांको विरुद्ध केस चलती कारण से जो अनुष्ठान से चलता सरकार से जो माने दायित्व थे से माने से शिशु मान को शोषण कर प्रमाण मिलला। तेणु यही जो परिस्थिति रे आम मानकर गोटे दायित्व रही जो माने बेसरकारी सेवा अनुष्ठान सब रही एनजीओ सब रही एवं तुम्हें माने भी जदि व्यक्तिगत भाव में यही शिशु मान को किसी करि भुवनेश्वर रुचिका स्कूल गोटे समय यही शिशु मान को तांको स्कूल रे संध्या बेले पाठ पढ़वार व्यवस्था करथिला। बर्तमान चलछि कि न चलछि मु कहि परिबिनी, कारण खुराना मैडम जे कथा करथिले तांकर देहांत होई गलानी या भितर। तेणु एभली युवक एवं छोट पिला शिशु मानकर सेवा करिवार गोटे विराट सुजोग रही भारतवर्ष। से भली वयस्क लोक मैंने जो मैंने वयस्क विशेष करके विभिन्न कारण जो बर्तमान देखा जाउची जे बुढ़ा बुढ़ी संख्या बढ़ी चलती। विशेषकर धर जापान भाया देश में सेठी तो बुढ़ा बुढ़ी संख्या अनेक समय युवक लोकों संख्या ठारू अधिक हो गला। दीर्घ दिन धरी बंची रहिबार सुजोग रोचे, मेडिकल उन्नति घटी एवं से लोक मैंने सब पैसा बा खाद्य चाहूँ से कथा नुह, से माने निसंग जीवन यापन कर बुढ़ाटी बुढ़ीटी भितर जड़े जदि मरीगले अनेक समय आउ जन को एकुटिया बंचा हो एवं दुखद घटना सब घटुची। जपरी निकट अतीत इटाली रे जड़े एकुटिया रोथुवा स्त्री लोक से तांकर मृत्युर पाखापाखि वर्षे पर्यंत सी मरीगले बोलिक कई लोक साई पड़िशा बा तांकर जो माने दूर संपर्क थिले निकट संपर्क थिले जो माने अन्य जगह रोते से जानीपारे ना जे तांकर मृत्यु घटी जाइए। गोटे हिसाब कराऊँची जापान रे ये जो वयस्क लोक मैंने एकुटिया तांकर देहांत हबार उदाहरण अनेक देखा जाउछि। कई कई तो कहते ये मृत्युर 1/3 मृत्यु पाखे कई नहांती कि घरे कई नहांती, से एकुटिया लोकटी रोतला सी चलीगला आउ कई जानीपारे केतोल सप्ताह होतोल वर्ष पर्यंत कथा चली जाउछि। सेथिपाई एबे वर्तमान इटाली रे गोटे स्वेच्छासेवी माने गोटे खूब भल काम करुचंती जे से माने विभिन्न जगह एमती एकुटिया किए कौटी अच्छी तार खबर रखिछंती, रखिकी से ही अंचल गोटे स्वेच्छासेवी को बाहर करछंती जे बाबू तू किछि नहले दिन को थरे जाइकी देखि आसु से बुढ़ाटे अच्छी कि नहीं, तार किछि असुविधा अच्छी कि तापई पाउरुटी मगै देवा दरकार हो कि क्षीर टिके आनीदेवा दरकार हो कि एटा अति छोट काम किंतु बा तांकर देह खराब है हॉस्पिटल रे पहुँचे समस्ते जो अर्थाभाव अच्छन से कथा नहीं। किंतु जमीती मु कहूली जे मोर जड़े सांग प्रतिदिन कैपिटल हॉस्पिटल रिजर्व बैंक से चाकरी करने सत्वे प्रतिदिन कैपिटल हॉस्पिटल रे जाइकी जो रोगी माने सेठी ट्रिटमेंट अच्छी है से माने जो माने सेठी एडमिट होती से भली रोगी मान पाखे किसी समय बसिकी आसुँच, विशेष करके जहाँ को बुझाशुना करने आउ कई नहांती। तेणु से भाया ये बुढ़ा बुढ़ी माने वयस्क लोक मानकर सेवा नवा कथा उठुछि। भारतवर्ष हेल्पेज नामक एक संस्था रही जहाँकि अनेक भल काम करुच्ची, भुवनेश्वर में तार ओडिशा से माने काम करुचंती। एभली आहुरी अनेक सब सुजोग रही परिवेश कथा तो आलोचना करिचे, अन्यान्य कथा आलोचना करिचे जो थरे कि आमे आम हाथ में अनेक सुजोग अच्छी जो थरे कि आमे काम सेवा जोगई दे पारिबा। बर्तमान ताकू सारांश तार 2-4 पदर कहवा सारांश कहवाक जाइकर मु कहबी जे आमे काहेकि सेवा करिबा। आमे एइथबे सेवा करिबा जे आमे कई एकुटिया नहु, केही लोक एकुटिया बंची पारिबो नाही एवं से अन्य ठारू भिन्न नुह, अन्य मानक सहित अन्य मानकर सुख सुविधा सहित आमर व्यक्तिगत सुख सुविधा जोड़ी ही रही। तेणु जदि प्रकृति न बंचब आमे बंची पारिबा नहीं। एई जो चक्र रही, खाद्य चक्र रही, जीवन चक्र रही, जनक जीवन अन्य जीवन सहित गोटे चक्र रे बंधा होगी रही। तेणु गोटे लोक चलीगले गोटे स्पेस गोटे प्रकार प्राणी चलीगले जनकर असुविधा हेले से असुविधा कालिकी आम पाखु निश्चित भाव आसब। सेथिपाई अन्य मानकर असुविधा दूर करवा आम पाई मध्य गुरुत्वपूर्ण। से कथा मन रखिबो जे पृथ्वी रे परस्पर सहित आम संपर्कित, परस्पर उपर आम निर्भरशील एवं सारा जगत एक। ऐक्यता को जदि आम बुझी न पारिबा ताहले आम अन्यर सेवा करबा पई आगे आसवा कष्टकर व्यापार। पुणी थरे कही दिए जे स्वच्छ स्व इच्छा सेवा करिवार अर्थ जनसेवा करिवार अर्थ कौन व्यक्तिगत लाभ पाई नुह, कौन पैसा पत्र पाई नुह, किंतु एक आत्मसंतोष लाभ करिवा पाई। जो आत्मसंतोष मिले से संतोषटा लाभ करने आम जनसेवा करवा आवश्यक। व्यक्तिगत भाव में करिपरिबा, आनुष्ठानिक भाव में करिपरिबा, କୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ ଅନୁଷ୍ଠାନରେ ଯୋଗ ଦେଇକି ସେ ଅନୁଷ୍ଠାନ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ କରିପାରିବା ଏବଂ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିଗତ ଭାବରେ କରିପାରିବା। ଆମର ଶ୍ରମଦାନ କରିପାରିବା, ଆମ ପାଖରେ ଯଦି କିଛି ଉଦ୍ଭୂତ ଅର୍ଥ ଅଛି ସେ ଅର୍ଥ ଦାନ କରିପାରିବା। ଆଉ ସବୁଠୁ ବଡ଼ କଥା ହେଉଛି ଆମେ ସମୟ ଦେବା। ଆମ ନିଜ ସମୟ ଭିତରୁ କିଛି ସମୟ ବାହାର କରିକିରି ଆମେ ଯଦି କିଛି ସମୟ ଦେଇପାରିବା ତାହେଲେ ତାଠୁ ବଡ଼ ଅବଦାନ କିଛି ରହିବ ନାହିଁ। ଏତିକି କହିକିରି ଆମେ ସେବା କଥା ରଖିବା ଏବଂ ଆସନ୍ତାକାଲି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ନୂଆ ବିଷୟ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ ସେମିଷ୍ଟରର ଶେଷ ଚାପ୍ଟର ଯେଉଁଟା ୱାର୍କ ଏଥିକ୍ସ ସେଇ କଥା ଆଲୋଚନା କରିବା। ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ।